Good evening or late afternoon, and welcome to All Levels Yoga. I'm Chris, and I'm coming at you here from the Hatha Yoga Center, live in the University District, Seattle, Washington. It's looking pretty busy out there tonight on the street. Lots of people doing things and walking around, and we're entering a new phase 2 in our county here. So we'll be able to have up to 5 students at the Hatha Yoga Center, which will be great. And we'll continue to live stream classes to you as well. I don't see that we're going to be stopping doing that anytime, from what I understand, anytime soon. So tonight, let's just pause for a moment before we get started moving, and just close your eyes for a moment and let your shoulders slide down your back. Let your shoulders soften a bit away from your ears. And relax your face and just bring your attention to your breath for a few breaths before we start. So bringing in some nice, comfortable, relaxed, deeper breaths in and out through your nose. Softening the jaw and just aligning yourself so that your head is balanced right on top of your shoulders and there's no strain in your neck. Feeling the breath coming in and out and feeling your rib cage expanding and contracting. And if you'd like, you could bring your hands together and you could set an intention for your practice this evening. Something perhaps that you could focus on and try to manifest during your practice. It could be very simple. Taking a breath. And then let's come to the front of our mat. I'm just gonna get this camera right here. So, coming to the front of your mat and beginning by finding your feet on the floor, spreading the toes, your arches, and feeling the length up from the soles of your feet all the way up through the crown of the head. And you could bring your hands together at your heart and just pause for a moment to find your breath again. Turn some lights on in here. So nice steady breath to guide you through your practice, in and out through the nose, lengthening the arms up, reaching up. Grounding through your sacrum and lifting through your pubic bone, your sternum, reaching up. Taking a couple breaths here. Exhaling, coming forward. Coming into your first forward bend, so finding your long spine. Bending your knees, letting your spine lengthen, including your neck, just keeping it long. Moving a little bit. Finding ways to bring movement into your practice. The movement of the breath. The movement of your energy through your whole body so you're not stuck, but there's a sense that things are moving and flowing. And then we'll step our left foot back and bring the knee down. And bring your arms up. So bring the weight back over your left knee. And take a couple breaths here. Reaching, kind of settling, and also lengthening up and lifting. Again, finding a little bit of movement, even if it's really subtle, so you're not just holding on until the pose is over. There's a sense of flow. And then you could swing your arms back and just gently clasp your hands, keeping your head from moving forward. And releasing your hands and stepping back to downward facing dog. Just paying attention to the transitions between your poses, noticing how you get from one pose to the next, and doing so consciously. So maybe bending into one knee or the other and just moving the hips a bit, side to side. Pressing into your hands, feeling your hands on the floor, just like you feel the soles of your feet touching the floor. So spreading the hands. There's a sense that you can lift maybe a little bit in the center of your palm as you wrap your elbows in. Sliding the shoulder blades down your back, lifting your tail. Nice deep breath. And then we'll come forward into plank pose. We'll just hold plank for a couple breaths. Again, feel all the places where you're holding plank. So in the legs, in the center of your body, your belly, pelvis, and your shoulders. And then coming all the way down to the floor with your elbows by your sides. You can be on your knees for that. And sweep your arms back, clasping the hands at the sacrum, lifting your toes. And coming up. You could move side to side or even roll onto your side. Just letting your shoulder blades draw down the back. Breathing. And then rolling back onto your belly and over onto your other side. Drawing the head back. And the neck kind of emerges from the shoulders, long, and then back onto your belly. For just another breath, releasing your hands, bringing your hands under your shoulders, tucking the elbows in by your sides, bending knees, tucking toes and lifting your hips. And just moving a little bit here. You can step your right foot up and over the left, lifting your right hip, wrapping the elbows in. Breathing. Nice steady breath. Stepping back to center and stepping left foot over right. Lifting your left hip. And then back to center. Taking a breath, and then we'll step left foot forward, bring the right knee down. Again, bringing your weight back over the right knee. And squaring your hips. This time just reach back, clasp your hands. Try to lift up through the sternum, lengthening up, releasing, letting the arms come up. And the gaze lifts, breathing. And then from there, we'll step forward into our forward bend, again, hinging forward at the hips. Your feet are hip width. So long spine. Taking another breath there. I'm just putting on a little music in the background. And of course, I can't see the music player without my glasses. And then coming up, lifting the arms up and reaching up. And then hands together at your heart. Sounds like we have some Balinese music in there. And let's go again, reaching up. Open up. You could take your thumbs together and kind of spread your hands if that feels good. And just try that, opening the shoulders. And then maybe press up through your hands. It's a little bit more tight in the shoulder joint when you do that, so then just release your hands. Exhale, come forward again, hinging forward. Taking a breath there. And then we'll step the right foot back for a lunge with the back heel lifted. So bring your hands to your hips and square your hips, and then do a few dips with your knees. So your body's going straight up and down. You're not leaning forward at all. So you'll feel it in your quads and maybe in the back of your leg. Just another time there. And then let the arms come up. Find a place where you can stay for a couple breaths. Lifting your gaze, really strong legs, coming a little deeper into the bend of the front knee. But feel like there's some ability to move, so you're not stuck. There's like almost like a buoyancy in your legs. Breathing. Exhale, bring your hands down and step back to downward facing dog. And it's nice and warm in the studio right now, which is means my body is more loose immediately. So that's kind of nice. It's also later in the day, so I've already moved, but coming into summer here. Just breathing. Maybe reaching your right hand back for the left ankle or lower leg, pressing strongly into your left hand and wrapping the elbow in so your shoulder blade can slide. And then reaching back with your right hand, lifting left hand and bringing it towards the right ankle. Nice deep breath. And then coming back to downward dog. And we'll exhale, come forward into plank. Keep the head lifted, belly lifted, finding your spot. And then come about halfway down, or a little less maybe, depending. Keeping your elbows right by your sides. And then coming either up into this higher version of cobra, or you can come into any other variation, maybe with your forearms on the floor. If you're in this higher version of cobra, press into your hands, wrap your shoulders back and down, lift the crown of the head. Nice deep breath. Feel the tops of your feet on the floor. And then bring yourself back, maybe through a quick prayer. Breathe into your back and lift up into your downward dog again. And then if you'd like, you could put those two variations we did together or do either one of them. So maybe stepping your right foot up and over left, maybe reaching for your ankle, your right ankle, or even your left ankle with the right hand. And then coming back to center and stepping the left foot over, reaching for your left ankle or even your right ankle with your left hand. Or just picking one. And then back to center. Take a nice deep breath there. And then we're going to step the right foot forward. Bring your hands to your hips. And let's do some of those dips. So you need to bend the back knee to do that. And you're going to come straight down, keeping the hips pretty square. A little strengthening for the legs. Maybe one more time. And then let the arms come up and find your spot. Breathing. Again, feeling that sense of grounding through your sacrum. So the back knee is bent and lengthening up the front of your body. Lifting. Then we'll step forward. Coming into Uttanasana, your forward bend. Your feet are hip width. Nice long spine. You might try stepping your left foot over the right foot and just try crossing your feet. If you can bring the soles of the feet to the floor. So you're coming into your forward bend with a little variation. And you'll feel it differently, probably. And then stepping that foot back to center and the right foot over the left. You can come up to do it or stay down. Just try to keep your spine neutral as you do it. And one more breath there. Step back to center. And then bend your knees quite a bit. Maybe you could reach back and Bring your hands around your ankles and then just move towards straightening with your chest on your thighs. So you might just be like down here, that's fine. You might be able to straighten and lengthen your spine. Trying to keep the chest on the thighs wherever you are. And then release and swing the arms up. Lifting your gaze. And let's come straight back down. Coming back to your forward bend. If it's comfortable for you, you can bend the knees and bring your hands underneath the soles of your feet, bringing your toes up onto the wrists. You might have to bend your knees a lot in order to do that, to keep the spine from being too rounded, but kind of play with the massage of your wrist and hand with the balls of the feet and the toes. And then just releasing that. And take a deep breath, and then let's step one leg at a time back to downward facing dog. So you can bend the knees quite a bit, keeping the tail lifted, moving just a little bit. And let's step the right foot forward. Make it a really long stance for, we'll just start like this for pyramid. We're gonna move the back leg in, but start it as if you're doing almost like lunge distance with your legs. So you might be up here, bend the front knee a little bit. If you need to, you're not pushing into the knee joint. You can also use blocks. Feel how the right hip, where is it? See if you can, you might have to bring your hand to it and then maybe step your back foot in a little bit. The back toes are angled out towards the edge of the mat. You could try lifting the toes of the front foot, draw the hips back and just stretch into the back of that right leg. If you have your fingers on the blocks or on the floor. Again, feeling this hip. Where is it in space? Where's your head? So keeping the spine long, and then we'll take a twist. So maybe your fingertips of your left hand are on the floor next to your right foot, or maybe they're on the shin, just opening the chest, drawing the right hip back. The thighs are kind of drawing towards each other. You're opening your chest. Playing with where your weight is. So you might have a lot of weight in your left hand. So if you can take a little bit out and then bringing the right hand down and step that left foot back again. So make that really long pyramid stance. We don't usually do it like that, but just try it. And then bend into your front knee before you step back to downward dog. And then just bring your knees down for a moment. Come into prayer. And let yourself reset. And then we'll come back up to downward dog. We're going to step the left foot forward. We're going to come into pyramid legs, but we're going to do a long stance. So it'll be like almost like to start with, like we're in a lunge, but we're not. Same distance that we would use in a lunge. So we're just going to start there. You might bend into the front knee a little bit as you draw your left hip back. So it's sort of like the same distance we would use for a regular triangle pose between our feet. Still keeping your spine long, using a block or two if you need to. Just taking a moment more to feel the stretch in the back of your left leg, probably in the hip. Just noticing where your left hip is. Maybe it wants to creep forward, and then we'll bend the front knee a little, step your back foot into a more typical distance that you would use for pyramid. Your legs are straight. And then we'll twist it. So you're gonna bring your right hand to the floor or to maybe the lower leg, and then opening the chest. Keep drawing the left hip back as you open the chest, feeling the inner thighs are sort of drawing together. They really aren't moving towards each other, but that's the sense that you get. Opening the chest, one more breath. And then bringing the hand back down. And again, step that foot back further so you're in that really long. You can turn your toes of your back foot forward a little bit. Not quite as angled out, and just find your long spine. It's a different feeling. And then you can bend your front knee a little bit and then step back to downward facing dog. I'm just taking a breath there. And let's come down to hands and knees. Getting a little sweat in my eyes. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders and knees underneath your pelvis, rounding your spine. Exhale all the air out, tip the tail, inhale. Move slowly with a sense that each vertebrae is moving independently, even though they're all moving together. A couple more cat-cows with the breath. Drawing the belly up and in as you widen, and then letting the belly drop and lengthen as you arch. Last one. And then we'll press up to downward dog. And actually just move a couple times from down dog. Bring the knees down, move to prayer, and then back up to downward dog. Try to move kind of consciously between those poses. Moving slowly with control. The next time you come back up to hands and knees, come forward into cobra. So drawing your belly up, rolling the shoulders back. You could look back over your right shoulder and look back over the left. Maybe the next time look over your right shoulder, lift your right foot, and then back over the left, towards your left foot. One more time. And then back to prayer. Tucking the toes and up to downward dog. And then let's move to plank. And then back to down dog. Do that a couple times. Lifting your belly and your head as you come forward, and then drawing the belly back in to help you move back. Maybe one more time. And pause in your down dog. Let's step your right foot forward to the front of the mat on the outside of your right hand. And just come into this lunge with your hands on the floor on the inside of your right foot. So the back knee is lifted. Taking a couple breaths there. And then let the knee drop. And you can play with your right knee kind of dropping out to the side, opening the sole of the foot. Just be careful with the knee, but make it feel good or interesting. And then maybe turning the toes of your right foot angling them out towards the edge of the mat. You could bring your left arm down and reach for the ankle with your left hand. Maybe back for your foot, your left foot with your right hand, drawing your heel towards your buttock, opening your chest. Look up. So you're feeling the opening of the chest and also the quad. And release that. And then turn the toes back in, come back up, and let's come into this half Hanumanasana stretch. You might be able to come in and out of that, come into a lunge, and then back to the half splits a couple times. Lifting your chest as you come forward. The next time you come back to the half splits, you could pause there. And walk your hands back as needed, or walk your foot forward. You might want to come into splits if that's part of your practice. I know we're not totally warmed up yet, but maybe it's easy for you. Maybe stay in the half splits. Your choice. You can also put blocks underneath you, keeping the hips square wherever you are. And if you're in the splits, just bringing the foot back in and coming back into the lunge, bringing your hands up to the knee, lifting up. And then let's take a twist. So hands come to the heart, maybe the elbow to the outer knee. And then maybe you're lifting your back knee. And looking back. Nice deep breath. And then we'll release the hands. We're going to step back to downward facing dog. And let's do a couple more movements here. So let's swing forward into cobra. Do it carefully, just letting the hips come down, and then lifting the hips and coming back up a couple times like that. Maybe one more time. Engaging your belly as you come forward, and pause for a moment. Breathing. Try lifting your thighs, maybe an upward dog. And then release the thighs, come back up slowly to your downward dog. And then we'll step the left foot on the outside of the left hand, just like we did for the lunge. Take a few breaths there in this deep, long lunge. Steady breath. Notice that the left, like my left knee kind of wants to go out to the side. Just noticing. You could try to kind of draw it back in. And then let your right knee come down and let that sole of the foot open. A little bit. Knee drop out. Just being careful with the knee. Breathing. One more breath there, and then bringing your knee back in. You can turn the toes of your left foot out towards the edge of the mat, bringing the forearm down, reaching for your ankle with your right hand. Your left hand comes back, maybe for the foot, or just reaching up. You can draw the heel towards the buttock. Looking up. So opening the chest, so you're not sagging down into your right shoulder, you're lifting up. Steady breath. Release your foot. And then just coming back to the lunge for a moment. And then we're going to come to that calf splits pose, lifting the toes. And you might come forward into the lunge, and then back to the half splits a couple of times. And then the next time you come back to your half splits, you can stay there, or you might come forward into a full split. Keep drawing that left hip back so you're not distorting your hips. They're square, they're staying pretty square. Right hip's coming forward, left hip drawing back. Supporting yourself. Taking a couple breaths here. And then drawing the foot back. Using the lunge for a moment and then stepping back up to downward facing dog. So here in your down dog, you could turn your heels to one side and bend the knees and then kind of go back and forth. And then the next time the knees come over to the right, just come down onto your right hip. So you can bend your knees, finding there's no correct position, but just taking a side stretch up and over. So finding a place where you're comfortable on your hip. And then just coming back up and twisting. Reach your left hand over like towards the right shoulder and then open it back up. Do that a couple times. So you're twisting in your upper body, your lower body staying pretty solid. One more time. And then back up and maybe bring it over again, stretching all the way from your left hip up through your fingertips. And then we're going to pivot back to down dog, so turning and bringing the hand down and doing your best to come back to downward facing dog in some kind of reasonably smooth way. Then we'll turn the heels towards the left and bring your hips down. And I'm going to turn here. And then bring your hand just out in front of your body and reach up. So your hips are down. You're getting a big stretch up the side of your body. And then try that open the chest. And then bring the hand over and kind of around like it's going to reach back behind the shoulder. So you're twisting in your upper spine. A couple more times. And then back. And then this time bring it up and over again. And we're going to come back to down dog. So you're going to press into your left hand, use your feet, and get back up to downward facing dog. Pivoting around. And then we'll step our, let's lift the right leg, actually. Lift the right leg up. Lift it up as high as you can lift it without lifting your left heel. You can bend the left knee if you need to, but press up, keeping the hips square, and then maybe come to the ball of your left foot. It'll come up higher even. And then draw it forward, rounding, hovering for a moment, and then coming into your pigeon. So getting yourself set up. So the knee is angling out towards the edge of the mat. Starting in your upward, kind of this back bend. So finding the hips, coming slowly forward. Taking your time, breathing. And maybe relaxing your hands, the palms of the hands down. Couple breaths there. And then walk the hands hands back in, taking your left hand down on the mat and reaching back for the foot with your, or ankle with your right hand. Opening the chest, letting your ankle kind of pull into the hand and bring you up. You might look back. Steady breath. Feeling the rib cage stretching a little bit as you inhale. And then release that and turn. And let's just lean over towards the right and swing your back leg around. And we'll come into a seated twist, so bringing the left foot over the right thigh, letting the hips settle, sit bones ground. And taking a couple breaths before you twist, maybe with your right hand underneath and left hand back. Moving into the twist. You can also wrap your right elbow around the knee. And then you can turn your head back. You could reach for the sole of your foot, the outer edge of the sole of your foot with your right hand maybe, and lift the foot. Try to sit up though, so you're not really leaning back. You're sitting up on the front of your sit bones. And you might lift the back hand. Just another breath. Releasing that. Bring your foot on the inside of your right knee. And just bring some weight forward and kind of stretch into the back of your left calf. And your ankle. So you can move a little bit, just and then bring your seat back down. And let's step the foot over again. And actually, let's stack the knees and come into steer pose. So finding your long spine, grounding your sit bones. You can bring your hands back, you could clasp the hands. Maybe you can bring your palms together. I don't know if I can, let me see. Almost. And watch for the head to go forward there, just lifting it up. Only if that feels good to bring the hands back. You can release the hands. The traditional variation of the arm stretch here would be to bring your right arm up and over and your left hand back, and the back of the hand, you walk it up to meet with the right hand. So if that's doable for you, you could do that. We can do that with a strap. We can also just, you don't have to bring the hands together. It's, of course, always satisfying to be able to do that, but it also can kind of torque the shoulders to do that. So sometimes it's nice to just bring your left hand up the back too. And then release that. And swing your left leg back and around. And step back up to downward dog. And just take a moment, just kind of moving. And you could then, we're going to do the left leg, so you could then lift your left leg up. Keep the hips square, pressing up through the heel. Keeping the whole sole of your right foot on the floor, even if you have to bend the knee, drawing your right hip back. And then come up onto the ball of the foot. You can get that foot up higher, most likely. And then slowly draw the knee forward, rounding and hovering, and coming into pigeon. So there's a bit of a back bend here. And then we're coming forward, paying attention to our breathing. Feel the breath in the back. belly. Even if the belly is kind of pressed into the foot or leg, still just feeling some movement of the belly with the breath. And one more breath there. And then we'll just walk the right hand back in and plant your right hand, reaching back for your left ankle. Right ankle with your left hand, sorry. Opening the chest. Just breathing there. And then we'll release it, leaning to the left and bringing the right leg all the way around. You can always straighten your bottom leg, so you can straighten the left leg if you need to. Planting your foot and sitting up tall. Left hand comes under or wraps around, right hand comes back. And taking the twist with your breath. Opening the chest, lengthening up through the crown of the head. And then we'll release the hand. Reach your hand for the outer edge of your right foot if you can. And lift up through your right leg. Stay on top of your sit bone so you're not rounding or leaning back. You're still upright. Your leg might not come up super high. You could open your palm on the back hand. And then bending that knee. And let's come into steer pose, stacking your knees. And just taking your time. You can have your left leg straight if that's better. And just breathing yourself forward with your sit bones grounding. You might clasp your hands at the sacrum. It's easy to kind of duck the head forward if you do that. Bring it back up. And then you might bring your right hand up the middle of the back of the right hand, reaching over, maybe clasping, or just reaching for your right hand. It's going to be different on each side. For me, this is more difficult because I'm a right-handed person, so I'm just going to keep my right hand like that and let my left arm come down so that I can work with my right shoulder. It's intense. Breathing. And then releasing the hands. And we'll just come back to down dog again. Taking your time, making your way up. And try lifting left foot. And then bend your knee a little bit and walk your hands back. So first you might be kind of in like a warrior three pose. So you're pressing back through the heel, fingertips on the floor. Then you might move towards standing splits. So lifting the left leg up, pressing up through the heel. You might wrap your right arm around your left lower leg. Draw the belly in, breathing. And then release that. And walk the hands forward, bringing your left foot down. My shirt is falling off. Coming back to down dog, we'll let the right foot come up. And then we'll walk the hands back. You can bend your left knee as you do that. And then come into warrior three with your fingertips on the floor. So press back strongly through your heel. And then lifting the foot, maybe coming into your standing splits, pressing up through the heel of your right foot. You got to use these muscles in the back of your leg and your butt to squeeze and lift up. Letting the head go, and then releasing the leg and walking forward, back to down dog. Bending the knees. Let's come forward into plank. One more time. And then come straight into your upward dog. Breathing. Elbows by your sides, just come down onto your belly. And rest for a moment. You can make a little shelf for your head. Just rocking your hips a little side to side. Breathing into your belly. And then let's just bring the forehead down and bring your arms out into this like this shape. And at first, just keeping your head down on the floor, just lift the arms up a couple times. And then start to move up, lifting the head and back down. Just do that a couple times. Feeling what muscles you need to engage to lift up and to let yourself back down. One more time. This time hold it and lift your toes. Drawing your elbows together. Your neck stays long. And then release, bring your forearms down, come into this Sphinx pose. Moving a little side to side. Feeling the back bend here. So you might want to kind of angle your tailbone down as you lift your belly to take some of the compression out of your low back. Draw your chin towards your chest and then tip your chin. Just feeling how the neck moves in relation to the thoracic spine. And then just release it. And rock the hips a little. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. I'm going to get rid of my mat. We're going to come into frog pose. So letting your knees go wide. And maybe the feet come together. Taking a couple moments here. Staying in the awareness of your breath and your spine. And if it's okay for your knees, you could walk your hands in, or for your back for that matter, coming into kind of like a modified version of cobra with your knees bent like this. You might bring your hips forward a little. And then release, bringing your knees together. So we're going to work up to a back bend. So what are some of the things we need to do to prepare for back bending? One is we want to be a little open in the front of our body. And we've done some quad stretching, but let's do another quad stretch, which could be hero pose or virasana. So if you're doing it with both legs, if that's part of your practice, roll your calves out, bringing your heels to the outer, right on the outside of your thighs or hips, and coming back. You can do this with one leg forward, which is easier. Maybe just coming back to your elbows, or you can come all the way back. So finding your variation. If neither of those works for your knees or doesn't feel right, you could do a standing quad stretch where you just stand and reach for the top of your foot. If you're coming all the way back and you want a little more, you could reach your arms up and over your head. There's probably a sense that you're tucking your pelvis a little bit just to take some of the arch out of your low back. And the knees are moving towards each other, so not too wide with the knees. Kind of your choice of finding your spot. You probably feel it in your quads. You might feel it in other places as well. Couple more breaths. Might be enough to just sit up and do it. And if you're doing one side, make sure that you've switched now to the other side. If it hurts the top of your feet, like if you're at home and you're on a hardwood floor, we have a carpet here, but you can just roll up a mat and put it kind of underneath the ankle, and that protects the top of the feet. And then when you're ready, when you feel even, or you've had enough, just come out. I would recommend coming back to downward dog, just to kind of bring your legs into the extended position and sort of let it all go. And then let's work a little bit on our shoulders. So we might use a strap for that to begin with. So, thank you. So we'll come up to stand, and let's just take the strap up and over, bringing it a little wider than the hands a little wider than the elbows, just moving like this, feeling your shoulder blades. They come up and down the back of your rib cage. They also protract and come around, and they retract and go back towards each other as they're moving up and down. Next time they come back, you might want to hold, opening the chest and breathing, finding your standing mountain pose, so grounding through the sacrum, lifting up. You might turn side to side, keeping the head back. And then release that. Just, let's do the other one. Let's do first just keeping the strap where you had it and just bringing your right elbow up and over and back, and then the left elbow comes up and around. Right elbow around and back. So you're just kind of moving in this way. And you can move your body while you do it, or you can keep your body really still and just make it about your shoulders. Neither one is right or wrong, it's just kind of two different things. If you really want to feel into the shoulders, try to keep really still in your standing mountain pose and make it about the movements of the shoulders, switching directions. You might also change the grip. I moved mine in a little. And one more time around. And just let it go for a moment. You could just put your strap around your neck and let your arms hang. Again, when you're doing this, you could turn your whole body, or you could just move the arms. Feels kind of good to me to kind of move my head a little. Just coming back to stand, and then we'll stand on the right foot, bringing the strap into the right hand and kind of wrapping that right arm in and up by the side of the head, standing into the right foot, reaching back for the strap with the left hand, maybe lifting your left foot, keeping the hip square. You could kind of straighten your left arm back and your right arm back, opening the shoulder. It's like if you were a figure skater, you're reaching back for your skate, so you can do your twirl. And then we'll release that. Bringing the strap into the left hand, standing into the left foot. Again, you might even take your right hand and kind of wrap that elbow in just to get that motion. Reaching back for the strap with the right hand. And lengthening back, standing into your left foot. Squaring towards the front, so hips stay square. Again, lifting up. It's a big stretch, not only of your shoulder, but of the front of your body. It's It's also a one-legged balance. Breathing. And release that. Let's set the strap down. And just kind of circle it around, just let it go. Whatever motions, movements feel good to get that out of your body. And let's do a standing back bend, I think called stargazer pose. So finding your feet about hip width, bringing the hands, maybe for the first one, bring your hands back to your sacrum. Press into the sacrum as you lengthen up, drawing the elbows back. Might look up as if you were looking up at the night sky, lifting your heart, pressing your hips forward. You should do this like 20 times a day or more. And then release, and just circle it out a little. And then we'll try it with just clasping the hands. And so reaching back, clasping your hands, and pressing into your feet, moving the hips forward as you lengthen up. The gaze is up, and keep your chin tucked, or you can let the head come back. Make sure you can swallow, talk, breathe. It's an intense pose, especially because we spend most of our time around it, so release it. And you could widen your feet a little and just do a little Ichiro kind of stretch. And let's do a few more one-legged balances. So let's stand on the left leg and lift your right knee up. You could reach for the knee. You could draw it up. Bring the shoulders down. And then kind of set your belly and let go. Take a couple breaths there, so feeling strengthen your belly. And then bring the foot back, reach for the foot, drawing your heel towards your buttock to begin with. The knees pointing straight down. And you're breathing. So you're still kind of pushing the hips forward and lifting up. And then maybe you're lifting your left arm. We'll come into dancer pose. So maybe instead of bending forward to begin with, you could try to stay upright and just lift your leg. Keep lifting the hips. And breathing. And then maybe you're coming forward. And we'll come forward. Maybe you can keep the bind and come into a half moon pose with your bind. So opening your hips, bringing your fingertips just diagonally outside of your left little toe. And stacking the hips. You can also just let go of your foot. Wherever you are, do let go. Opening your chest. It's half moon pose. So long in the lower torso, and then bring your hand down and step your foot down. Just come into a squat for a moment. Just take a break. And then we'll come back up, and we'll stand on the right foot. So plant your foot, spread your toes, and find your standing mountain pose. Lift your left knee up. You could reach for it with your hands. Feel your standing leg really firm. Find your steady breath. Maybe you can let go of the knee. Breath or two. And then release that knee down and reach back for the foot. Letting the left knee drop, drawing your heel towards your buttock. You could lift the right arm. And maybe without bending forward, you could press your left foot back. Coming into dancer's pose. And then slowly coming forward, hinging forward at the hip, maybe keeping the bind, coming into half moon with the bind, opening your shoulder, fingertips come just outside of the right little toe. Breath is steady. And you could let go of your left foot and come into the standard half moon pose. So press strongly through the heel of your left foot. Opening your chest, stacking your hips. And then bring your left hand down and close the hips and step left foot forward. You'll be in a forward bend. Walking your feet apart again, come into the squat. Just take a breath there. Lengthening the spine. Maybe coming into your crow pose, so you could take your hands pretty wide, bringing the knees into the backs of the arms and your weight forward. You could possibly lift your feet. So you're lifting your shoulders and your head and also your tail. So you're trying to keep the spine pretty neutral, sort of drawing in the sides of your body, lifting belly, and coming back out when you're ready. And then see if you can sit your seat down. It's always not the most graceful thing for me. You could round your back for a moment. And then extend your legs. Come into a forward bend. With your legs extended. And your spine long. And like we did when we were standing, you can bring right leg on top. So crossing the legs. You feel it more on the outside of your right thigh. And then change the cross of the legs. Kind of flexing your feet. Your hands might come to the floor. They might be able to reach for the feet, but in your long spine. And then uncross the legs. And we're going to roll back down onto the back. We're going to move towards our back bend. Let's do a bridge pose first to prepare. So just rolling your hips up and maybe tucking hands underneath, keeping the curve in your back of the neck. And just pause there for a moment, just breathing. You could try lifting your toes and kind of press your heels away. Might feel it more in the hamstrings and the backs of the legs. This floor is kind of slippery, and then release the feet. Maybe come up onto the balls of the feet, release your hands, and slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. And just draw the knees in towards the chest, rocking side to side. And then the next time you come up, you can choose to come back up into any any variation of a bridge pose. So you might choose a different hand position, like you could reach for your ankles, or you might choose to come up into full wheel, which is what MJ requested. So turning your fingertips back, keep the elbows kind of hugged in, press into your heels, lift up, coming up. You might come up onto the balls of your feet and just breathing. Letting your neck be at ease here. Taking a couple breaths. It's a powerful pose, so taking it easy. Coming down when you're ready. Tucking your chin. Drawing the knees towards the chest, just slowly. Rocking side to side. So coming into the counter pose slowly. You might grab for your feet soles, coming into happy baby pose, and rocking side to side. A little bit of yelling out on the street. It's Friday night in the U District, so things are coming back to life. And then release the feet. And let's do a eagle leg. So you're going to cross your right leg on top and let your knees come over towards the left. Or you can just bring the knee over into a regular twist. Letting the right arm come back out, and you could gaze over your right shoulder. And then unwinding, coming back to center, maybe bringing left on top and wrapping into the eagle legs and letting knees go towards the opposite side. Left arm comes out. Or taking whatever variation of the twist is right for your body. And then back onto your back and bring your feet wide. So just bring them up a little wider than your hips. Knees are bent, arms out to the sides. Let your knees go side to side slowly. Back and forth. And then the next time they come to the right, you can just let them stay. Maybe picking up your right ankle, putting it on top of your left knee. You can also kind of walk your knee back so that it's at a different angle, if that feels good, a little more quad stretch. Just finding your spot. Just being careful with the knees too, and release that, and then back and forth a couple of times. Letting the knees drop over to the left, maybe picking left ankle up on top of right knee. Breathing, letting your breath kind of start to come back down into a calmer rhythm. And then releasing that and just drawing the knees back in again and rocking side to side. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet together and the knees wide, bringing yourself into a reclined bound angle pose, maybe with the arms up, clasping elbows, or maybe just bending the elbows. And just taking some breaths. Letting your body settle back towards the floor, allowing gravity to support you completely. And you might extend your legs and your arms down by your sides with your palms facing open. And just staying on your back and having a few moments in Shavasana, corpse pose. Letting your practice integrate and allowing the good effects of your practice to settle in, releasing anything that feels like it might not be beneficial for you, just allowing it to go. Feeling the gentle rise and fall of your chest and your belly with the breath. feeling how supported you are, how the floor and gravity have got your back. And just staying here for a few more moments, just knowing that it's going to end at some point. There's nowhere you need to be in this moment and nothing you need to do. You can just be very still and observant and feel the breath and know that all is well in this moment. You have everything you need in this moment. One of my first yoga teachers used to say that. His name was Eric. And when I first started doing yoga, it was a time where I really needed to hear that I had everything I needed in this moment. So taking 2 or 3 more breaths here on your back. And then beginning to bring a little more movement in and rolling over onto your side and coming back to a seated position. We'll just do a little bit of a Nadi Shodhana or alternate nostril breathing. So come back up, find your spine, find your seat, lengthening up, taking a couple of natural breaths just in and out through the nose. And then we usually use our right hand and the thumb will cover the right nostril and the ring finger covering the left. So we'll start, inhale, and then exhale all the air out, covering right, inhale left. And just pause and hold the breath, just gaze is upward, release your shoulders, keeping the breath in, retaining it, and then cover left, exhale right. Keeping the length in the spine. Inhale right. Filling the lungs, pause, retain the breath. Lift the gaze behind your closed eyes. Cover right, exhale left. Inhale left. Filling your lungs, keep your shoulders relaxed. Close your eyes. Retain the breath, lifting the gaze, then cover left, exhale right. Exhale all the air out, inhale right. Pause, retain the breath, lift the gaze. Exhale left. One more time through, inhale left. Keeping your face relaxed, retain the breath, gaze is lifted, close your left, exhale right, inhale right, pause at the top, you can bring your hand down, retain the breath, lift your gaze, and then exhale both nostrils, keeping the length in the spine, inhale both. Exhale. Now coming back to a nice balanced breath. In and out through both nostrils. Keeping the face soft. Eyelids are soft. Lengthen the spine. Almost like you could lean back as if there was a wall behind you, like you're supported. Feel the breath in the back of your body. And in the front. A couple more breaths. Letting the breath be very natural now, very comfortable. Feeling the effects of your breathing practice, your pranayama. Then you could bring the hands together at your heart in Anjali Mudra, just bringing the palms together gently. Pausing to recall an intention if you set one. Noticing how that might have affected you, if you paid attention to it or not, without judgment. And then bowing your head to your heart, to your own practice, your own inner teacher, your higher self or your higher power. Namaste. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope that you have a wonderful evening or day if you're watching this later. And thank you so much for your support of the Hatha Yoga Center. Looking forward to seeing some of you in real life again soon.